and fury. Opposition to health care turns menacing. Members of Congress get extra security. Who is behind this?
It's getting ugly as anger over health care reform erupts into some over-the-top rhetoric, including threats now against members of Congress. It can now be said that the debate over health care reform has gone too far.
If racism is not the whole of the Tea Party, it is in its heart, along with blind hatred, a total disinterest in the welfare of others.
Protesters roaming Washington, some of them increasingly emotional, yelling slurs and epithets.
Representative John Lewis, who yesterday was reminded of old battles from his civil rights days. Surrounded by angry protesters at the Capitol, someone yelled the N-word at Lewis. And a few steps below, Representative Emanuel Cleaver was spat on.
A year-long debate that's been rancorous and mean from the start turned even nastier yesterday. As tempers rose, they hurled racial epithets. One lawmaker said it was like a page out of a time machine.
Some of that public anger boiled over last weekend with hateful words aimed at Democratic lawmakers.
And greetings to you, ladies and gentlemen.
The provocative platform Rush Limbaugh commands can add fuel to the fire.
On a daily basis, that support comes from the racists and homophobes of radio and television, the Michael Savages and the Rush Limbaughs.
Rush Limbaugh creates this picture of fascism and Nazism on the march, and you then start to have people going out of control, acting crazily on Capitol Hill, yelling all kinds of racist things at members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Can you draw that link?
Because these crazy talk show hosts that are so right-wing are out there using the most heated language and the most heated rhetoric that does, in fact, incite people to hate.
I looked on the RNC website this morning. Yep. I have to say I was surprised by what I saw. The homepage shows a big photograph of Nancy Pelosi, and in huge block letters it says "Fire Pelosi," yep. And she is against a backdrop of flames. Yeah. Isn't this a little bit extreme?
Democrats accuse Republicans of stoking the anger with violent rhetoric and imagery.
Now to a deadly, serious domestic issue that has long concerned the U.S. Secret Service. A controversial new online interactive poll suggests the general hatred of President Obama on the right, which may be fueling the lunatic fringe, is more widespread than previously thought. 45% of Republicans say Obama is a domestic enemy. 38% of Republicans say Obama is doing many things that Hitler did. And 24% of Republicans say Obama might be the Antichrist.
Sarah Palin will be joining you in Arizona as you can campaign tomorrow. She has used some pretty incendiary language. She tweeted in response to the health care vote, "Common sense, conservatives, and lovers of America, don't retreat, instead reload." And on her Facebook page, she also posted a map highlighting weak Democratic districts that conservatives should target with a crosshair symbol. Should this still be the language of this day, given how much we are hearing about hundreds of calls regarding threats, about vandalism, about the gas line of a congressman's brother's home being cut? Sir, these are very dangerous times. Is this the language that we should be hearing today?
And the question is, are comments like that, inciting the violence and name-calling over the health care bill, is it responsible for someone to say that, especially a leader, considering the anger that's going on right now?
Democratic leaders say at least 10 of their members have received violent threats.
They say Republicans need to speak out to try to diffuse some of this anger.
What about the violence in the wake of the congressional action? Isolated incidents or signs of a dangerous anger? We saw some pretty scary stuff last week, both before and after this vote. We saw members' offices that were trashed. We saw death threats. We saw all kinds of things. Do you think the parties have an obligation to try to tone down some of this runaway rhetoric?
The fears that all this angry talk could push a deranged person over the edge.
Would you say that this incitement from the Republican leadership is criminal? I mean, seriously, if people are going to have windows thrown, bricks that, if they're going to get their lives threatened, if we're getting criminal behavior resulting from their incitement, is the incitement itself criminal?